Hello, and welcome back to Gaining English. Today, we're diving deep into the amazing life and incredible story of Taylor Swift. Imagine a kid from a Christmas tree farm who grew up to change the music world. Taylor Swift is more than just a singer. She's a brilliant songwriter, a smart businesswoman, and a huge cultural influence. She's connected with millions of people all over the world. In this video, we'll talk about it all. Her early days in Nashville, her big rise in country music, and her jump into pop. We'll also cover her clever re-recordings, her amazing business skills, and how she's touched so many lives. So, if you're a big Taylor Swift fan, love music history, or just want to learn about someone who broke all the records, this deep dive into her story is for you. Get comfy, because a truly fascinating story about Taylor Swift is about to begin. Taylor Allison Swift was born on December 13, 1989, in West Reading, Pennsylvania. Her journey is truly incredible. She went from a young country singer to a huge global pop star. She's also a smart businesswoman and a cultural icon. Her story shows her amazing songwriting, her clever plans, and how much she connects with her fans. Taylor's life story is woven into her music. It shares honest tales of love, heartbreak, hard work, and bouncing back. Millions of people around the world connect with her story. To understand Taylor Swift is to see how she built her own amazing life. She didn't just rule the music industry, she actually changed it. Imagine a pretty Christmas tree farm in West Reading, Pennsylvania. That's where Taylor Swift spent her childhood. It was a place full of imagination and early art lessons. Her parents, Scott and Andrea Swift, quickly saw her talent. They helped her follow her dreams. Her name, Taylor, even comes from the singer James Taylor. Her grandmother, Marjorie Finley, was an opera singer. It seemed like music was always in her future. Her younger brother, Austin, later became an actor. They have always been very close. The big farm with its endless trees was a perfect place for her to be creative. Young Taylor would often write poems and stories there. She didn't know it then, but she was already practicing. She was getting ready for her future as a songwriter. When Taylor was just 9, she loved musical theater. She was in many local plays. She even went to New York City often for singing and acting lessons. These early stage experiences helped her learn how to perform. She became very good at being on stage. This skill would be a big part of her huge stadium tours later. But then, something big changed. She found country music. Artists like Shania Twain and Faith Hill captivated her with their storytelling. She loved how they told stories in their songs. This sparked a new path for her. She really wanted to tell her own stories through music. This growing love for country music made her feel a bit different from her middle school friends. She sometimes felt like an outsider. These feelings would later show up in her early songs, but it also made her even more determined. When she was 12, a computer repairman taught her 3 guitar chords. That was it. That moment changed everything. She wrote her very first song, Lucky You, right away. This was the real start of her songwriting journey. It would become the main way she shared her feelings. She had already won a poetry contest, so she was great with words. Now, she found the perfect way to put her words to music. Her parents saw how much she wanted to be a country artist. They knew their Pennsylvania home wasn't the best place for it. So, when Taylor was just 14, they made a huge decision. They moved to Hendersonville, Tennessee. This town is right near Nashville, which is the heart of country music. This move was super important for her career. It put her right where the music industry was. She went to Hendersonville High School for 2 years. But her music career started getting busy with touring. So she switched to Aaron Academy. This private school let her study from home. She even finished high school a year early. Then, a big moment happened at the famous Bluebird Cafe in Nashville. This place is well known for songwriters. Taylor was performing there, and Scott Borchetta saw her. He was an executive from DreamWorks Records. He was also starting his own record company, Big Machine Records. He was very impressed by her talent, her stage presence, and especially her own songs. He signed her. She was one of the first artists on his new label. She was also the youngest artist ever signed by Sony ATV Music Publishing. This really showed how talented she was as a singer and songwriter, even at a young age. This was the official start of a career that would soon change the music world forever. In October 2006, when Taylor Swift was just 16, she released her first album, Taylor Swift. She wrote or co-wrote every song on it. The album was a big hit. It reached number 5 on the Billboard 200 chart. It sold over 5 million copies in the U.S. That's amazing for a new country artist. Her first song, Tim McGraw, was a sweet song about summer love. It quickly became a top country hit. Then came other popular songs like Teardrops on My Guitar, which showed her feelings, and Our Song, a lively tune that became her first '1 hit on the country charts. This album quickly made her a voice for teenagers. She sang about first loves, small-town dreams, and growing up. Critics loved how she told stories in her songs. They said she was fresh and real for country music. She won many awards, like the Horizon Award from the Country Music Association. This showed she was quickly becoming a star in Nashville. Her second album, Fearless, came out in November 2008. This album made her a huge superstar. It went straight to number 1 in the Billboard 200. It became the best-selling album of 2009 for all music genres in the U.S. Songs like Love Story, which was like a fairy tale, and You Belong With Me, an anthem for anyone with a secret crush, were massive hits. They were big on country radio, but they also became huge pop songs. This brought her many more fans. Fearless won her 4 Grammy Awards. One of them was the Big Album of the Year award. At 20 years old, she was the youngest person to win it at that time. This win proved her amazing storytelling style. She sang about young love, dreams, and the worries of growing up. Many young people really connected with these songs. The Fearless Tour, 2009 to 2010, was her first big tour where she was the main star. She played to over 1.2 million fans and earned over $66 million. This showed her power as a live performer was growing fast. But then, something unexpected and very public happened at the 2009 MTV Video Music Awards. It caused a lot of talk. Taylor was accepting an award for You Belong With Me. Kanye West famously interrupted her speech. He grabbed the microphone and said, "Beyoncé should have won for her song." This event caused a huge media frenzy. People took sides, and it started a long, difficult relationship between Taylor and Kanye. This event really shaped her public image and influenced her future music. But even with the interruption, it accidentally made her even more famous. Everyone knew her name, even people who didn't listen to country music. Taylor's third album, Speak Now, came out in October 2010. This album was a strong statement of her independence. Critics had questioned if she wrote all her songs. So, she wrote every single song on this album by herself. This showed everyone her amazing talent as a solo songwriter. Speak Now also showed her words were growing up too. She sang about specific people and events. There were songs like Mine, which was an apology, or Mean, which called someone out. And Dear John, a very sad song about heartbreak. The album was about growing up, dealing with public attention, and ups and downs. It was about the complexities of young adult relationships. It went straight to #1 on the Billboard 200. It sold over 1 million copies in its first week. She won 2 Grammy Awards for Mean. The Speak Now World Tour, 2011 to 2012, was a big theatrical show. She played to over 1.6 million fans around the world and earned over $123 million. This proved she was a powerful global performer. In October 2012, Taylor released Red. This album was a clear step towards pop music. She experimented with electronic sounds, rock, and even a bit of dubstep. Some songs still had country roots, but hits like We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together, her first #1 hit on the Billboard Hot 100, and I Knew You Were Trouble, showed her versatility. She proved she could sing different styles. This album got great reviews for its honest feelings and mixing different music types. It explored the wild ride of heartbreak. It sang about the messy feelings of adult relationships. It was all about the strong, sometimes chaotic, emotions tied to the color red. A song called All Too Well became a huge fan favorite. It was a long, emotional story about a past relationship. It became even more popular later with its 10-minute version. Red was a huge seller, moving 1.2 million copies in its first week. It won her many awards. The Red Tour, 2013 to 2014, also did very well. It earned over $150 million and had amazing stage designs. Around this time, Taylor's personal life, especially her famous relationships, became a constant focus for the media. Her songs often felt like hidden stories about these relationships. Fans loved this because they felt close to her honest feelings. But some media outlets criticized her, saying she writes about her exes. Taylor always stood up for her art, saying that personal experiences are simply where her songs come from. She kept this belief throughout her career. Then came her 5th album, 1989, in October 2014. This was a full dive into pop music. It was named after her birth year and sounded like 1980s synth pop. 1989 was a clear and powerful move away from country music. It was a complete new sound and look for her. Big hits like Shake It Off, a fun song ignoring her critics, and Blank Space, a funny take on how the media saw her, were huge. Bad Blood, a star-filled song about a conflict with Katy Perry, made the album a huge hit. It broke sales records, selling 1.287 million copies in its first week, the most since 2002. It stayed at #1 for many weeks. It also won her a 2nd Grammy for Album of the Year. This made her the first female artist to win that award twice for her own music. 1989 proved she was a pop superstar. It showed she could change her sound, but still keep her amazing lyrics and storytelling. The 1989 World Tour, 2015, was a massive global show. Many famous guests joined her on stage. It broke attendance and earnings records, earning over $250 million. It was the highest-earning tour of 2015. During this era, Taylor also took a strong stand on how much music was worth in the digital age. In 2014, she famously pulled all her music from Spotify. She argued that the free version made music seem less valuable. Later, in 2015, she wrote an open letter to Apple Music. She criticized their policy of not paying artists during a 3-month free trial. Apple Music quickly changed its policy. This showed Taylor's growing power. It also showed her smart business sense and her passion for artists' rights. After a tough time with the public and a very public fight with Kanye West and Kim Kardashian in 2016, Taylor Swift took a break. This quiet period ended with her dramatic return with Reputation in November 2017. This album sounded darker and more defiant. It was about how the media twisted things, about being betrayed, and finding love even in chaos. It was still pop music, but it also had hip-hop, R&B, and industrial sounds. The first song, Look What You Made Me Do, directly addressed her critics and the snake image people used against her. It signaled a new, stronger Taylor. Songs like Delicate and Ready for It showed a more grown-up Taylor. She navigated fame and found genuine connections. Reputation sold 216 million copies in its first week. This made her the only artist to have 4 albums sell over 1 million copies in their first week in the U.S. The Reputation Stadium Tour, 2018, was her most successful tour at that time. It became the highest-earning North American tour ever for a female artist. She played to over 2.9 million fans and made over $345 million. The show was a visual masterpiece, with huge screens and fireworks. It showed her comeback story and proved she was a master of stadium performances. In 2019, Taylor signed a new record deal with Universal Music Group's Republic Records. This was a very important move in her fight to own her music. This new deal meant she would own the master recordings of her future music. This was something she had always wanted. But just a few months later, her old record label, Big Machine Records, was sold to Scooter Braun's company. This meant Braun got control of the master recordings of her first 6 albums. This started a very public and bitter fight. Taylor accused Braun of bullying. She was very sad and angry that she didn't get a chance to buy her own work. She saw the sale as a betrayal and very unfair to artists. This fight for her master recordings led to one of the most unexpected and impactful moves in music history. Taylor announced she would re-record her first 6 albums to own her music again. This became known as the Taylor's Version Project. It was a groundbreaking plan. It was designed to make the original recordings owned by Braun and later by another company less valuable. This bold move gave power back to artists and changed how things worked in the music industry. It made people talk about artists' rights and who owns their work. While all this was happening, Taylor released Lover in August 2019. This album was bright, romantic, and more openly political. It was a return to a brighter, more open, and vulnerable style after the darker reputation. The album explored grown-up love, accepting herself, and her new political awakening. It had hits like Cruel Summer, which fans loved even though it wasn't a single. Lover, a classic romantic song, The Man, which criticized how women are treated in music, and You Need to Calm Down, a song supporting LGBTQ rights. The album went to #1 and was nominated for a Grammy. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Taylor surprised fans with 2 unexpected and highly praised indie folk albums. Folklore, July 2020, and Evermore, December 2020. She worked with Aaron Dessner from The National and Jack Antonoff on these. These albums showed a big change in her style. They were full of detailed storytelling, poetic words, and a more thoughtful, alternative sound. She moved away from singing only about her own life. Instead, she told fictional stories and created characters. This showed how versatile she was as a storyteller. Folklore won her a 3rd Grammy for Album of the Year. This made her the first artist to win that award 3 times for albums mainly written by a solo female artist. Evermore continued this new sound. It's often called Folklore's sister album. Both albums got great reviews for their deep lyrics and dreamy music. They proved she could shine in many different music styles. The Taylor's Version project really took off in 2021. She released Fearless, Taylor's Version, in April, then Red, Taylor's Version, in November. Next came Speak Now, Taylor's Version, in July 2023, and 1989, Taylor's Version, in October 2023. These re-recorded albums were huge successes. Her fans supported them by streaming Taylor's Version. This helped to make the original recordings less valuable. A cool part of these new releases was the From the Vault tracks. These were songs she wrote during the original album times, but never released before. They were an exciting bonus for fans and gave more reason to support the new versions. The re-recordings always went straight to #1, proving the power of her fans and her smart plan. Very recently, in May 2025, Taylor announced that she successfully bought back the rights to all her master recordings from Shamrock Capital. This ended a years-long fight for artistic control. It was a huge win for artists everywhere. She mentioned that her very first album, Taylor Swift, Taylor's Version, is ready. But Reputation, Taylor's Version, will take more time. She felt that album was so specific to that time in my life. She said it couldn't be improved, but promised unreleased tracks would still be there. In October 2022, Taylor released Midnights. This was a return to pop music. It had a theme about 13 sleepless nights in her life. The album broke many records for streaming and sales. It had the most streams in one day on Spotify and Apple Music. It was also the fastest-selling album of 2022. It gave us hits like Anti-Hero, which became her 9th #1 song, and Karma. This album proved her global power and showed she can always change her sound while keeping her amazing songwriting. Then came the Eras Tour, which started in March 2023. This tour became a huge global event, making more money than any other concert tour in history. The tour covers all her different eras of music. It's a carefully planned show, over 3.5 hours long. It celebrates her huge collection of songs, her amazing stage art, and her deep connection with her fans, known as Swifties. The Eras Tour has generated billions of dollars. It has boosted local economies in every city it visits. It's truly a global phenomenon. The concert movie, Taylor Swift, The Eras Tour, also broke box office records. It became the highest-earning concert film ever. Her latest original album, The Tortured Poets Department, came out in April 2024. In this album, she explored new sounds and lyrics. It talked about heartbreak, fame, and looking inward with a more poetic style. The album broke streaming records when it came out and went straight to #1. It shows she keeps making great music and getting praise from critics and fans. Taylor Swift's personal life, especially her relationships, has always been a hot topic for the media. From early loves that inspired her country songs to famous relationships with people like Jake Gyllenhaal, Harry Styles, Calvin Harris, and Tom Hiddleston. Her dating life was constantly discussed by tabloids and fans. Her songs often felt like secret diaries about these relationships. Fans loved this because they felt a real connection to her honest feelings. She kept this belief throughout her career. Over time, she's become more private about her personal life. For example, her long relationship with actor Joe Alwyn was mostly kept out of the public eye for years. Her recent album, The Tortured Poets Department, talks about the end of this relationship. Once again, using her music to share her feelings. Beyond her relationships, Taylor's public image has been a wild ride. She's often been unfairly targeted with sexism. People would talk about her dating life differently than they would male artists. The 2016 situation with Kanye West and Kim Kardashian, where she was called a snake and a liar, led to her pulling back from the public. But then, she came back with a reputation stronger than ever. This experience really shaped how she saw fame and how the media can twist things. In recent years, Taylor has started speaking out more about important social and political issues. At first, people criticized her for being silent on politics. But she became very vocal in the late 2010s. She publicly supported Democratic candidates in her home state of Tennessee in 2018. This was a big change from her past quiet approach. Since then, she's become a strong supporter of LGBTQ rights and gender equality. She's encouraged people to register to vote and spoken out against racism and police brutality. Her political involvement, especially how she gets her huge fan base to take action, is called the Taylor Swift effect. It shows her big influence on how people get involved in society and politics. She's also a strong voice for artists' rights. This isn't just about her fight for her music masters. It also includes her earlier stand against Apple Music's policy of not paying artists during free trials. She also does a lot of charity work. She has given large amounts of money to help with education, disaster relief, and art programs. She's also used her fame to raise awareness for issues like sexual assault. After winning a symbolic $1 in a sexual assault lawsuit in 2017, she dedicated her victory to all victims. Taylor Swift's career isn't just a music success story. It's a masterclass in business. She has carefully built and managed her brand. She understands the music business and what fans want very well. She makes money in many strong ways. Through music sales, CDs and digital, streaming money, Publishing rights, because she writes so many songs. Huge tour earnings, tons of merchandise sales, and big endorsement deals. Her decision to re-record her first 6 albums was not just about getting her art back. It was also a brilliant business move. By creating Taylor's version of her songs, she made the original recordings owned by others less valuable. This lets her control how her new recordings are used and how much money they make. This strategy, combined with her record-breaking tours, has made her incredibly wealthy. In October 2023, Taylor Swift officially became a billionaire. This is rare for an artist who made most of her money from music and touring, not other businesses like fashion lines. Her properties, including homes in New York City, Los Angeles, Nashville, and Rhode Island, are also worth hundreds of millions. Her Eras Tour alone has made over $2 billion, making it the highest-earning tour ever. This shows her huge economic impact. Taylor Swift's career is covered in an amazing number of awards and broken records. This proves her place in music history. She has won more Grammy Awards for Album of the Year, 4 wins for Fearless, 1989, Folklore, and Midnights, than any other artist who was the main person on the album. She has won 14 Grammy Awards in total from 58 nominations. She also dominates other major award shows, American Music Awards, AMAs. She has won the most awards of any artist, 40 wins. Billboard Music Awards. She has won the most awards of any artist, 49 wins. MTV Video Music Awards, VMAs. She has won the most Video of the Year awards, 5 wins, and the second most VMA awards overall, 30 wins. Guinness World Records. She holds over 100 Guinness World Records. This shows her constant success with hit songs, sales, and tours. Besides specific awards, her achievements include being the first artist to have 5 albums sell over 1 million pure copies in the U.S. in their first week, having the most best-selling albums of the year in the U.S. 8 times, being the highest-earning female musician of the 2010s and 2020s. The Eras Tour became the highest-earning concert tour of all time. Taylor Swift's life story is always changing, always growing. It's about her constant desire for great art and huge success. From a young girl writing heartfelt country songs on a Christmas tree farm to leading stadium shows worldwide and challenging big industry companies. She's always shown a unique mix of being open and vulnerable, along with smart planning. She connects deeply with her audience through honest storytelling songs. This, combined with her sharp business sense and her growing work as an activist, has made her a true cultural phenomenon. She didn't just fit into the changing music world, she actually shaped it. Especially with her amazing re-recordings and how she speaks up for artists' rights. Her influence goes beyond hit songs and awards. She affects how fans connect, how economies grow, and even how people talk about politics. Taylor Swift is more than just a pop star. She's a voice for her generation, a powerful businesswoman, and a strong symbol of female power in entertainment. As she keeps writing new parts of her life and career, her legacy as someone who built her own amazing life and who has touched millions is definitely secure. Thank you so much for watching this deep dive into Taylor Swift's amazing life. Her story truly shows us that passion, resilience, and new ideas can change the music world forever. If you found this video inspiring, please hit that thumbs up button. And share it with friends who love music, creativity, and incredible success stories. For more detailed biographies and fascinating journeys that help you keep learning, make sure to subscribe to our channel. What was your favorite Taylor Swift era? Or what song means the most to you? Tell us in the comments below. Until next time, keep dreaming big and thinking differently.